Well, hi, everybody. This is one very warm Dear Mama Sal talking to you today. Just to give you some idea, I'm not quite sure why. I will try and explain it to you in a second. But the temperatures here in Canada, known for igloos and things like that, um, it's hotter than Dubai. Go figure that one, right? And so today's broadcast will be about how am I keeping cool in a house without air conditioning. And I have my blinds closed, which is part of the story we're going to talk about. But because my deck, which is not in the sun, at the moment, hang on a second, I've got to just do the conversion of that. Hold on one sec while I do that. It's 40 degrees out there. And I just need to do the calculation for those of you who don't speak Celsius. Hang on one second. It's pretty darn hot. Let's put it that way. I think even people who live in heat can't believe it. In other words, on my deck at the moment, it is 104. 104 on my deck, shaded out of the sun. Now, in my kitchen, it is about the same. Actually, it's more than that in my kitchen because I got a skylight with the sun streaming through. And so what I wanted to do is to let you know that I'm doing pretty well because right now where I'm sitting, it is a very cool 91 degrees Fahrenheit, which would be, where are we? I'm going to do it for Sandy and those when they listen to this or watch it. Okay, let me do this. Yeah, it's a mere 33 degrees where I'm sitting by comparison. So a lot of today is going to be talking about that, but I've got a lot of other things that I wanted to talk about because we missed the broadcast, half a broadcast on Friday and 1.5 broadcasts on Friday due to computer issues, which I'm very grateful to tell you. Hold on one second, please. Excuse the mess here. It's the coolest place I can be. Hang on a sec. All right, sorry about that, but one of the vital parts of my keeping cool, some of you probably know this from being on the beach or whatever, is I've got a little spray bottle and I just every now and then spritz myself. I've got all sorts of other things around me, which I'm going to show you as I do the broadcast. But apparently what has happened is that there is a heat dome going on. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but I had no idea what that was. So let me try and show you. I'm going to just move this down a bit so you can see. We can do this. All right. So if you imagine this is the Earth, and let's imagine X marks. I just spritzed this, didn't I? All right. So we'll do X marks the spot where Sal is sitting in Canada. All right. So here we go. Now, what has happened? There is a heat dome going on, which is blocking the hot air in. Makes sense so far? All right, so there's this heat dome going on, and it's blocking the hot air, keeping it in. And then Mr. Sunshine is shining down onto that hot air. And that's what they call a heat dome. Does that make more sense? I had never heard of it, quite honestly. But you know me, if I haven't heard of it and I don't understand what's going on, I need to know. So now you can all sound really smart. You know, when somebody says, oh, wonder what's causing the heat, you'll be able to go, it's a heat dome. Let me show you what's happening. I don't know about you, but I love those sort of moments. Okay, so that's what's happening. A heat dome is happening here. But whoever thought that where I live in southern British Columbia would ever be hotter than Dubai? I mean, it's just like, are you serious? We're expecting even hotter temperatures as the day progresses here. Um, we're expecting it to go to. Let me go here. They're warning. There's a heat warning out for me at the moment, and they're expecting it to go to that, which will be. Okay, 111. 111 in American, in Fahrenheit. That's what they're expecting today. Today is going to be the worst day. But you know something? Do I look miserable? Do I look hot? Yes, but not miserable. So as you know, the magic scarf is helping me. And what I'm doing next to me here, I've got all sorts of things going on that I thought I'd show you. Next to me, can I show you this? Yes. Okay, so I have got, remember, Jody, you asked me about the little air conditioning thing. That one I've got in here. In front of it, I've got a bottle of iced water, which is going to be ice water in a minute, sitting in ice water. And so this is all helping me. So, and if you think about it, it's keeping me 10 degrees cooler right here than where I normally sit to do the Sunday broadcast. That's pretty good, isn't it? I thought. So I'm feeling pretty good. So what I'm going to do is unwrap my scarf, which is now hot. Hi, Sandy. And all I'm going to do is to drop the end of it into the ice water that is in front of the little air conditioner thing, and put that back around my neck, because you all know I do that. And then what will happen is, as that water evaporates, it will cool me a bit more even. I can do it with the spritzer, but it's even better with the ice water. They are saying that Lytton in British Columbia is going to break the record for the hottest temperature ever recorded in Canadian history. They're expecting it to go to 45. Well, hello, I'm in 44 already. and that the top temperature hasn't, normally happens around about 5. So I think that we're going to hit that record. Never mind Lytton. Lytton will probably go to even more. They're expecting 113. It was the hottest in history in Lytton was 113. We're at 111 right now. My brother Jeff, for those of you who know Big Brother Jeff, doesn't believe what's happening. I put one of my sea paintings up there to make me feel cooler, because it was just like, really, I'll do anything. And funnily enough, it is interesting that those little things make a difference. For those of you who don't know, DearMamaSal is a group of people who get together a couple of times a week to help each other cope with life. And we are very grateful. For those of you who are interested, today's broadcast obviously is going to be talking about the heat. We're also going to be talking some feelings of stupidity on my part. We're also going to be talking about how to de-stress your life with habits and how those are working for us. And the reason that we do these broadcasts is so you will always know there are people here who care. If you've ever got a problem going on and you need some help coping. I personally needed some help coping this week, to be honest, and we'll talk about that. I would like to say that we're all quite normal if we have feelings, if we have our life going in the wrong direction, seemingly. or if we have stress. It means that we're alive, and all we need is and the ability to ground ourselves and move on with it. And I want to also explain that in part of the broadcast today, if we, I might do a longer broadcast today, but part of it is about, was it a coincidence that, because you know me, I don't believe in coincidences. So how are you all doing? I thought I'd start while you're typing. Any stress going on for any of you? I'm going to get to the thoughts and prayers section in a second, so just have them ready or start typing so when I get there, I can scroll back and see them. I wanted to show you something that I thought would brighten you up a bit. One of my lilies flowered this week. Isn't that beautiful? And as some of you know, my house color is yellow, so that looks so magnificent against it. What is it about yellow that feels so good? And I wanted to just say that we just need to keep doing the best we can. I'm a great believer in that. So, rolling on, birthdays and special days. First of all, I would be amiss if I didn't mention thoughts and prayers for all the people who are missing and their families, of the people who are missing in Florida, where that half the building collapsed. And I've got a number of things I want to say about that. First of all, I believe this today, they just took all the people, hi there, Kimmy, took all the people to the site. Now, obviously, that is important for the family members to start their grieving process. I believe that the reason they've taken them to the site now is they're going to, I think it's been over 60 hours now, they're going to have to make the call within the next day, probably maybe 2 at the most. I would think in the next day that it no longer is a rescue effort, and that they are going to start clearing the site. So I want us all to have thoughts and prayers for these incredible people, because it's a really sad time, all right, for them. And nobody's going to want to admit that they're going to need to let go. Do you know what I mean? It's a very difficult thing. Can you imagine being in that situation where as long as they're still looking, you know that there's still hope, but then suddenly they're going to turn around and say, we're not looking anymore. And, because there is the chance of survival now is, beyond a possibility. Now, it's pretty sad stuff, but it's also real stuff. And I cannot imagine what that must be like. And I cannot imagine how these people feel. So what I wanted to do is to just say to you all, be grateful for what you got. I wanted to wish Kez a very happy birthday because it is her birthday today. And I'm not aware of anybody else's birthday this week. So if you have a birthday or a special anniversary this week, please let us know so we can add it to our database. I wanted to make another couple of comments about the Florida issue, because I think it will not only affect more buildings in Florida, but I think it could affect more buildings around the world. Quite honestly. And this could, if you like, be under be prepared, not scared. But here's the thing. Think about this. They have shown that, that building was warned some time ago that it had some issues under the level of the swimming pool, and that the surveyors told them they needed to get these things fixed. Apparently they didn't, because getting it fixed would cost $6 million. And if you were a homeowner, and you can understand this, if you were living in the apartments, you know, your little community homeowner board, whatever, you know, are going to be discussing that and going, hey, they're saying we need this, but it's going to cost 6 million, which means everybody is going to have to pay another. Jody, could you do quick math for me? You know, what is 200 units divided into 6 million? Hi, Beth. And so the truth is that they didn't do it. Now, here's the thing. I heard now, of course, that they're also saying any buildings over 30 years or something now are going to be re-inspected. Now think of that ramification, because now everybody is going to say, if you get re-inspected, you have to do the updates. I think the property prices of condos in Florida, they're going to be a gut of them on the market, because people are going to leave them rather than pay the prices that are needed. But the question is, what will happen next? Where will they go? And I think what will happen is the whole of the US will be re-looking at buildings over 40 years old. And there's going to be a lot of concern. So, not to be a downer here, but be prepared and not scared. I don't know what building you live in, and I don't know what repairs were meant to have been done that weren't. But if this gets to the level that I think it might, you know, they're going to be rent increases to cover the cost of maintenance. Be prepared, not scared. And, you know, I don't know how you pay for the cost of maintenance to that degree, quite honestly. Because I think in a lot of cases, you know, we're not going to have that money. So I want to repeat the good advice that we got about dogs in the heat. So, because I'm pretty certain for those of you who are suffering with these very high temperatures, give them ice cubes to play with. You know, dogs cannot sweat. All right. The only way that they lose heat is by panting, and that's dehydration. So please give them plenty of cool water with ice cubes. They love playing with ice cubes, and they play with it, and that will create more coolness inside. If you can, get a kiddie pool and fill it with water. Keep it as cool as you can. Drop ice cubes in there every now and then. All right, so your dog can go into it. All right, so Jody's saying that if there were 200 apartments, it would cost every, it would have cost every homeowner in those apartments an extra $30,000. Quite honestly, when you look at it now today, I'm certain a lot of them will say that would have been a good price to pay rather than the one we just paid. I don't know. What do you think? But I believe that the ripple effect of this could affect everybody who's in a building that's more than 30 years old. All right, so go back to the doggies. Put ice packs close to them. You know, put the ice pack wrapped in a towel somewhere, so if they want to, they can go and lean against it because they know it's cool. You know, if you've got a raised bed for your puppy, some people have got those beds on that are like little baby hammocks. You know, put cool underneath there, or rather, now that I think about it, put cool above it, right? Because cold air drops, it doesn't rise. But even if you had water underneath it with ice cubes, it would still be a cooler area. And Jody gave us this one, which I totally remember doing with Bean Bean and Bud before Bean Bean. Cool wet towel, you know, rinse and just wipe it over their fur so their fur gets wet. I used to just hang it. I used to hang it over Bean Bean if it got really hot, you know, and just until he shook it off. You know, first of all, rub it, and then I would just hang it over him because it would give me just that little extra cool for him. And also, you know, you can do it in a way that it's a fun game for them. You know, they love towels anyway. So remember to keep your pets. Now, I'm talking about dogs, but how many of you have got other pets in the house? I don't think cats are too partial to water, but maybe some of you cat owners will have handy tricks on what to do. What about those of you who have birds in the house? What are you doing to keep them cool? And I've got my greenhouse window in my kitchen. I've had to remove my plants out of there because it's too hot. They just burn up. Except I've got some cactus that I put in this week. They'll be okay. All right. Now then, one of the things that they're also saying is, you obviously know the trick about running, if you haven't got air conditioning, get a bowl of ice and a fan and let the air from the fan travel across the ice. Then I found that this really works well. It's going to drip a bit, but that's okay. I actually freeze my water bottles, okay, solid. And now I have got two things. I've got ice water. Oh, first of all, it cooled the air because it's standing in front of the little mini air conditioner. But now it's a multitasking thing, and I love multitasking. So now what I do is I fill up my water bottle with ice water. Now, some of you are going, why don't you do it the other way around, which is to put the water, and now you've got that's normally what I do. Okay, there we go. So now I have got, and I've got a second one going here for the next one. That can now go in front of the air cooler. But I've lost that was why. I've lost the straw for this one. Make a plan. However, another bit of caution. If you've got frozen bottles like this hanging around, make sure you've got something underneath it, because we know the condensation is going to drip all over your desk or all over anything else. So just be aware. I've got a nice wet area here now. Thoughts and prayers, everybody, if you will, for Rimsky. For those of you who might not have been there when we had the broadcast on Friday, her papa died earlier this week, and obviously we feel greatly for her. Thoughts and prayers also for Jeannie, whose inspector caused a problem, but you're going to hear later on why that it maybe isn't such a problem. Sometimes the coincidences are good ones. So what can I say? It's a difficult week in terms of thoughts and prayers. And I'm just hoping that Kez is having a really awesome birthday today. All right, so a couple of things. How to heat-proof your bed. I want to say that one of the things I am very, very grateful for is that I lived 17 years in Africa, where I'm used to these sort of temperatures. And I also am aware that our ancestors lived in these very hot temperatures without, too much problem. They learned how to do things. So one of the things that I have learned, if you've got one of those pillows that you can freeze, I think it's called a chiller. Obviously that's a good idea. The most important places to keep cool are your neck and your head, which is why you will see me spritz every now and then, all right, like this, just to keep those areas as cool as possible. And do I care about my hair right now? No. Do I care about putting on makeup today? No. This is what you get. However, a couple of things. I make a point in very hot weather to have a shower before I go to bed. Some of you probably do that anyway, but this is the reason why I want to talk about it. What I do is I go in at a medium temperature, not cold. I go into it at a medium temperature. Why? That is the temperature that my body is at. Does that make sense? And then after maybe a minute, I will bring it back a tad. And what you will surprise you is in a normal circumstance, you would feel that shift. It was wool. That's quite a shift. Funny enough, if you're overheated, you won't feel that shift. And then bring it down a little bit more. And I'm not joking. Last night before I went to bed, I pulled my shower temperature down to a level that I probably would have jumped or screamed with fright if I had walked into it normally. It got to, I would say, halfway down before I went, okay, I can feel the cool water now. And then I let that run for a little while to bring my body temperature down. Then I lay on, I put my robe down because my robe is fleece. I put my robe down and I just lay on there. That's a sight you don't want to see. Anyway, I lay on there and let the hot air dry me. And that actually works really well at cooling your body as well. Now, when I went to go into bed later, I actually took a spritz bottle and I spritzed down my sheets before I got into bed. And works really well, people. Just spritz the sheets you're about to lie on and the one that, both the bottom sheet and the top sheet. And you will be surprised how cooling that is. And if you wake up in the middle of the night because you're too hot, do it again. And if necessary, go take another shower, repeat that process and do it again. Because you will sleep that much better because you won't be overheated. Make sense? Now, they also recommend, although I must admit I don't do this, maybe keep, if you have the ability to keep, some cold water next to your bed, maybe in a basin or something. But, my attitude is if I put that next to my bed in this temperature, by the time I wake up, and they say put your feet in it, it's like really, and by the time I wake up, that's going to be hot water. So I don't see the point of that unless I go and get ice cubes and throw them in and start all over again. And I don't want to be up. Kimmy, as usual, says that she's cold most of the time. And I say as usual because it's amazing how many times I'm talking about something and Kimmy has the opposite. Kimmy, it is really hot here in British Columbia at the moment. We are close to, well, actually, we're at 111 Fahrenheit at the moment. So life continues to be of great interest, is what I can say. And is it stressful? Let me ask you, what do I need to do to not let this stress me out? It is totally unheard of. Beth uses a portable air conditioning neck fan. It sits here, doesn't it, Beth? And then just keeps you cool that way. Awesome idea. Yeah. So, Jody, perhaps you can take that link and we will put it up for the replay because obviously people on the replay won't have the benefit of seeing that link. It's okay to put the link up for our viewers that are on the chat at the moment, Beth. Thank you for not putting it up automatically. I appreciate that. Okay, so again, think about all your pets, all right? Because I am pretty certain that no pets are used to this sort of heat. But, not many of you live where I live, so be grateful. Whoever thought that the land of igloos would have this problem? Really, that's what absolutely amazed me. It's just like, we're igloo country, people. All right, so now then, let's move on a little bit. Oh, yeah, isn't that typical? Poor Kimmy. Kimmy's saying where she lives, which is begins with a K. It's not Kansas. It is not Kentucky. It is, okay, Jody, help my mind here. Or maybe Kimmy could tell us. Anyway, they had a cold front go through. All right, so the main thing is Wyoming. Oh, it doesn't begin with a K at all. That's why I couldn't remember it. Thank you. Kimmy lives in Wyoming. They got a cold front, and normally that is pretty hot weather, and we've got your weather. So all right, now then, I've got all sorts of stuff to do about stress this week. Some of you might have seen the little clip I put up on YouTube yesterday about I took, I should stop thinking, oh, they didn't put it back. Yes, they did. It's the other end, so. Anyway, oh, there it is. Anyway, I took out I took out the little memory card slot to find out did I have a memory card in there, and I actually knew I hadn't. So why I did it, I don't know, but I did it. And then when I was looking at it, I managed to drop. I managed to drop the little SIM card that goes inside SIM, right? Anyway, there's a video about it on YouTube if you want to know what happened to me. But, I really felt stupid. However, I wanted to thank Sandy. And now Sandy inspired me way back when, Christmas time. And she showed us something that she made for a Christmas present, which was a 3D letter. And I just literally went, wow, that is so beautiful. So Sandy, I just want to say, if you watch this, thank you so much. And I wanted to show you what I did. I want to show you the result first, and then I will talk to you about the stress of it. Okay, so that's what I managed to make for a card. You see, it's a 3D letter. Now, Sandy told me that what you do is you actually put layers of the same letter. You cut the same letter and you put layers with little spaces between them. But guess what? I didn't have my little spaces. Stressful. So you know me, plan B. What I said was, if you're meant to use just 3 letters with spaces, let me put 10. And what I did is I just glued them all together and still got the same result. And then, but it didn't start that easily. First of all, you remember that I had my silhouette die cutting machine. That's the one that cuts out these things. I had that one unpacked, and I had all the leads out and everything, and I just had to connect everything, and then I could go. Now, life isn't that easy for me. Do any of you relate to this? It's like if anything can go wrong, it seems to go wrong. And so here I sat, and I needed a power cord. I've got a whole box of electronic stuff. I mean, literally, a big box of electronic stuff. And I've even got them sorted into things like power cords or connectors or whatever. They're all in little baggies separated. I think I must have had 20 different power cords, power adapters. The sort of one that goes into your laptop and then into a step down thing. Yeah, one of those things. Anyway, so none of them appear to work. I've got 20 of these things. None of them appear to work. How stressful was that? Because the next thing is, what am I going to do? Hi there, Ayo. Where are you from? Welcome. Anyway, so it's just like, none of those work. What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to have to order a new one. How quickly can I get it? Well, with today's Thank you for the pandemic, because today we can get it overnight. So I ordered one up and I searched for one that would fit my particular machine. And I ordered it up, and sure enough, they could deliver it by the next day. Yay. So I spent time worrying about it. That's enough. Buy another one. Now, I bought another one, and you'll be surprised to hear that it worked. Morocco. Been there, done that. That gets pretty warm there in Morocco as well, Ayub. How hot is it there at the moment? If you can believe it. Yeah, the land of igloos is particularly warm at the moment. We're hotter than Dubai at the moment. Life is strange. Guys, that doesn't work that well. It's easier to drink the one with the straw. Okay, hold on a second. And I need to keep hydrating because... Okay. Well, I cooled down my legs at the same time, people. Okay, carry on. So anyway, carry on with the story. So I got it all connected and it worked. Then I tried to connect to the cloud where I've got all my stuff stored to download. Yeah, that wasn't working either. Why? Because I haven't used my Silhouette for over a year. And anyway, long story short, just about everything that could go wrong did. But I was not going to quit because I wanted to make the card. And then I didn't have half the things that I needed. I did. They're somewhere in the house, but just until I find them, I haven't got them. And so I just went, something, I'm going to make the best card I can with what I've got. And I don't know about you, but I thought, I thought it was pretty nice. So does that look like I spent some time and effort on it? I hope so. Because to me, it was really important. Now, how many of you know that the story didn't finish there? Because yesterday, I wanted to deliver it, but it was so hot. It was just like my brain's going, are you insane? You don't have air conditioning working in your car, and you're going to get in these temperatures and drive your car with leather seats and a leather steering wheel cover? That would be insane. And I'm going, the card needs to go in the mail today. This is the price I pay for not doing this a month ago. The card has to go in the mail today. So now it got worse. So I get in the car and I drive to the post office that I always use. And they were so pleased to see me, so that made it good. And then I said, I need it to get there for sure by Thursday. They said, okay, so you want it express. That will cost $30. And quite honestly, they don't guarantee that it will get there. I said, wait a minute. Let me see if I got this right. It's going to cost $30 express, and there's no guarantee it will get there by Thursday. That's nearly a week away. What would you do? What would you do? And so I don't know about you, but it was like $30 for a maybe. Well, I may regret this for the rest of my life, but I said, send it regular. Don't send it express. And I'm going to pray to the gods that the gods are kind on my envelope and that it gets there. Seriously, what has happened to our postal system that they cannot get something from Vancouver to the next state across the line. I am 10 minutes. I could drive it there faster. I could drive it in 4 hours. I'm not going to because it's done. But, it was, now that would have been a nice idea, actually, wouldn't it? Not in this heat without air conditioning. Okay, so, but the point is that it was just like, am I going to pay $30 for a maybe? I don't think so. So I told them to send it regular, and I will wait until Thursday. And if she hasn't got it by then, I will tell her that it is on the way. And I did send it on Saturday. So, which is true. All right. No lies about that one. Yeah. It's just like, I don't know about you, but this was just insane. It was just like, really. So think about that. It's not the best answer. And is there any point, and again, we talk about this all the time, is there any point am I getting angry with myself? That famous, I should have, I didn't. So the price that I pay is it may not get there in time. Sad, but that's life. Under the whole thing about there are no coincidences, how many of you remember my saying, the next room I want to start working on tidying up is this room? Can any of you remember my saying that? And it's amazing how things happen when you make that commitment. The next room I need to get into is the craft room. And of course, trying to get all the bits I needed to do the work on the silhouette required that I tidy up around me here and get working space going. I managed to find the pens that I wanted, and I managed to find all sorts of, and by the way, the story got worse. On the way to mailing it, some water from my water bottle evaporated onto the envelope, and the envelope ended up with a watermark on it, that pink. I decided, that my perfectionist went, go home and remake the card. Go home, Sal, remake the card. And I'm going, could have happened anyway. Could have happened anyway. Hi, Karen. Good to see you. We just started summer, Karen. We know we're working our way to autumn. And by the way, I wanted to ask if any of you, seeing as Karen mentioned that, how many of you started with your Christmas list? I'm doing quite well with my Christmas stuff. Every month I am buying another thing towards Christmas. And so thank you for commenting on that. And because we're now in summer, I am now starting to look at what plants do I need to start thinking about ready for fall, winter, right? Because I need to be planting those seeds. So good idea to be aware of what's going on here. Now, is there a coincidence, do you think? Did any of you hear the story about the fact that poor Jeannie, her house did not get cleared by the inspector, and it was an absolute mess of events. But it turned out to be that this inspector caused all sorts of problems with all sorts of people. And what is happening now is, number one, the city that she lives in is taking a look at what happened to her. Plus, you remember that a while back she had to get a certain clearance or something and pay $5,000. They're returning that. Anyway, so what this has done is it's highlighted a lot of problems with that particular human being. And although Karen's got to wait even longer now in the hotel, not Karen, sorry, although Jeannie's got to wait even longer in the hotel, she's going to end up getting that $5,000 back. So you understand, sometimes the bad things turn into better things, right? Because you can imagine she's going to want that $5,000 to do, get new things for the house once she moves in. So I was really happy about that. Now, here's a question I have for all you smart people. You remember that my ceiling fan was working when I first moved in, the one in my bedroom. However, when I needed it earlier this week, it wasn't working. Long story short, the guys came to fix it late Friday afternoon. Thank goodness. And it took a while to identify it. But for some reason, between the time that it last worked for me and when the guy went to look at it this week, the two little, I think there are 4 pins that have a little code in them that match the 4 pins that are in the ceiling fan. They had shifted. Did the gremlins get in there and do that? So what is the coincidence? The coincidence is this question that I'm about to ask you. I said to him, shouldn't the blades be going anti-clockwise for the summer? And he said, no, clockwise. And I am pretty certain it's anti-clockwise for the summer. Even though you can feel the wind when it's going clockwise, I think it's meant to go anti-clockwise. Does anybody have knowledge of that? The next thing is, my remote does not have a little clicker that says, okay, now go anti-clockwise. So I'm thinking, how do I do that with a remote that I don't have chains that you can change it over? Normally you have chains. Some remotes have a clicker that you can click it. It will not change. No. So then, of course, I spent a bit of time Googling it, and I found, I typed in, how do you, let's think about this. How do you change a fan with a remote when it doesn't have this and that and the other? And guess what? There's a video on it, and it is exactly the same fan as mine. You think there's a button on the fan? I got to climb up there and get, oh, interesting. I'll have a look for that. But she actually showed me what to do it, and you do it with the remote. I thought it was anti-clockwise. Yeah, Jody's confirming that. All right. So here's what I found out. I can do it by dismantling the remote, which I'm scared to do. I'll wait until the heat wave is over. And then she showed me exactly what to do once that remote is open. Very interesting stuff. Amazing. All this happened this week. And that's not all. Oh, it's been a very eventful couple of days for me. I don't mind telling you, I nearly overwhelmed this week. Now, when do you hear me say that? And I don't mean, I'm such a good person, but, I normally keep pretty good control of myself. And it was just like, really? I was more overwhelmed this week than I have been through the fire and everything else. Isn't that weird? So did any of you try any new habits this week? Or have you been practicing new habits that have been working for you? Remember, decide the type of person you want to be and prove it to yourself by changing small things in your life. All right? Change small habits in your life. So you will remember I said that one of the things I always wanted was a hotel type, 5-star hotel type bathroom. Even, although I'm on a, Motel 6 budget, but that's what I wanted. And, my biggest problem, of course, is clutter. And so I managed to get it all cleaned up. You know how stressed I've been this week when you know that I have not been able to keep that habit going. I was struggling to keep myself going, never mind my bathroom, but it's pretty good. My bedroom paid the price and the rest of my house paid the price. That's why I know I've been stressed this week. I think I'm nearly under control again. Thanks a lot to Jody. You will remember that I had to cancel broadcasts. My computer, both my computers were having major issues. That didn't make sense to me. My TV couldn't stream without buffering. And I'm going, what is going on? And the most important thing was that my phone didn't have any problem at all. So then I was talking to Jody before, and I tried to get help from the people, and it wasn't, I was going to have to wait while they mailed me things, and I'm going, no, this isn't that sort of a problem. So anyway, what I did was I was talking to Jody yesterday to try and problem solve, right? A really good idea when you've got a problem, talk about it, because it's amazing. And Jody stated the obvious thing, and I've got to say that, Jody, because I think it is the obvious thing, which is, did you reset the modem? And I'm going, yes, but have I done it in the last 24 hours? No. So I unplugged the modem, I unplugged the router, everything. And I left it for about 10 minutes. And then I went back and I plugged everything back in again. Love you, Jody. Thank you. It is so nice to have. I can stream again on my television. It's just like, and I haven't touched wood. Yes, wood. And I haven't had any problems with my computers either. Thank you. And again, people, put a note somewhere in wherever you keep notes, right? Just turn the whole lot off and unplug them and walk away for 10 minutes. Don't unplug it and put it back in again. Well, and a lot of bye-bye, Ayub, and thank you for joining us. We love it when you pop in. So remember to ask for help regularly. And what I was looking for was, if you had this problem going on, what would you do? And of course, Jody knows all about it because they've had the problem. So I can't believe that I didn't do it. But I didn't. Tell them, because I've started to work on the craft room, because, no coincidence, I needed to make a card. And for that, I needed the space in my craft room. I needed to also sit here. Now, what do I know? I do not have a television here. Now, I do most of the things in my life with a television in front of me because it distracts me. Hold on a second. I need a second container here. And so what I did was I came and started to focus. That's what I realized. It's a really good place to sit when I want to focus because I'm not watching television. I'm not distracted. Now, I know what you're saying. Just turn the televisions off, Sal. But I'm a news freak, so that doesn't work for me. So now then, something else happened. I'm on my bouncy. Remember I got that ball chair? For those of you who don't know what that is, it's a chair. I'm sitting on a big rubber ball. And boy, can I feel the difference in my hips and my back. I am so much more comfortable. It is surprising. It is making me sit better. You sit better on a ball chair because you have to have your feet on the ground squarely to balance. And I mean squarely. All right. And so, and also when you're working, you're inclined to curve your back properly to stay balanced. So my spine is getting a workout that it hasn't had for a while. By the way, my hips are constantly being used as I balance. Beth, what a wonderful update. Beth is saying, for those of you watching this on the replay, I'll be getting a brand new store, not yet built, at the end of the year. It will be the biggest store in our district, 9,500 square feet. Sells fruit and vegetables along with fresh meat. It's a concept store. Beth, hey Beth, Beth. You know that family member? The one that said to you, why would you take that job? That piss-willy little job. You remember that family member? Why am I laughing? Mm. Do you get more money for taking on such responsibility, Beth? I'd love to be surprised, but I'm not. You know that I'm not. Oh, what a brilliant idea. Jody is saying, invite her to the grand opening. It's a huge salary increase. There you go, girl. Oh, you must be so proud. Can I share that on Facebook? May I? Not can. I can, but may I? All right, I'm not going to share that. That's private stuff. Wow, and you're going to get a bonus every 3 months. Yeah, of course you are. Can you give me the okay to share that? Yeah, okay, fine. Jody, could you make a note to make sure that I have that on my list of things to do after the broadcast? I am so happy for you in one way. How does Charles feel about that? Charles being her husband? Is he excited for you? Is he going to learn to cook more? Clean the house more? Because obviously that's going to be a lot more work. So the most important thing, Beth, I can give you, I've tried to give you pointers from the get-go, as you know. But here is the most important thing you can do, in my view, is to find out will you be able to pick your own people to take with you? Oh, you'll have more employees, so you won't have to stock anymore. You'll just manage. I'm not going to put one blind cent on that, Beth. I bet you that you end up still stocking when, it's what you do. The trick is to manage it. Yes. So here's the thing. One of the things I always believe in, you're picking your own stuff. Good. The next thing, if you're picking your own stuff, make sure one of the first meetings you have, you find out which one of those staff members wants the job. And they'll all look at you and go, what? And you go, because I need to start training you right now. So, and it doesn't matter if 2 or 3 of you do, I will just train you to do the job. Of course, you'll work right beside them to make sure they do it right. Now, Beth, I need to tell you something. I need to tell you what I believe this is all about. Okay. Your job, as it was given to you, was that you are not to stock shelves, you are to manage. All right. So this is going to be a wonderful exercise of stress management for you. And to remember that the greatest gift of leadership is to bring out the best in people, which you already do. However, the other thing is to trust them to do the job. Trust them to make mistakes, because that's how you learn. And then when they beat up on themselves because they didn't come up to snuff, if you think about it, Beth, when they do basic training, all right, does the guy that shouts all the orders end up doing the stuff for them? No. He knows that they got to keep repeating it until they do it right. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Her district manager said, "I need the best of the best, and you're it." He laughed when I turned around and said, "Who?" Well, I am absolutely, I'm delighted for you. But here is the thing. It is a lesson in trust, Beth. They trusted you to take on the big job. They trusted that you could delegate. All right? Remember that. They trusted you to delegate it. So that is what I want you to be aware of. All right? And if you keep doing it, the others can't do it well enough for you. All right? They got to get lots more practice. And I'm sure all your staff wanted to go with you. I think that's wonderful. You've taught them a lot. And you've given them more than just being a boss. You've given them faith in themselves. You've given them a standard to work towards. You've given them a role model to aspire to be. And you know, Beth, I can just tell you, I am so glad that we've been here through this journey, and I hope we continue to share it with you, because I am certain that everybody is so proud of you. And you know, Beth, I do want to tell you that every day when I clean that shower of mine, I say, would Beth be happy with this? And the next thing I found out, for those of you who have problems cleaning, I've got wall-to-wall shower now, cleaning shower thing. I found that just a regular towel, a small one, hand towel, does a great job. Once every sort of about twice a week, I spritz it with all the cleaning stuff that I make. But, just every other day, I just wipe it down with a towel, squeeze it out, wipe it down some more, squeeze it out, keep doing that until everything's dry. And it does a great job. But I talk to you every day in my shower, and I'm sorry for what the vision is. Now, here's another thing I wanted to tell you, a new habit of mine. And I recommend this. Jody, I've got a feeling it would help you as well. I do a lot of my stretching exercises in bed. I know that sounds strange. Listen to me. One thing I do is I go to bed earlier now, but I spend about an hour getting ready to go to sleep. And part of it is I do these exercises, but you know me, I like to multitask. So I play a game while I'm doing this. But think about this. I lie on my side and I hang my one leg over the side of the bed, keeping the rest of my body straight on the bed. Think about that. If I put my leg over the side of the bed and let it hang, can you imagine how it stretches my back on this side when I do that? Believe you me, you would be surprised. And after about 5 minutes, I roll over to the other side of the bed and I do it again on the other side of the bed, stretching all my spine bits out. Make sense? You'll be amazed how that feels. One of the most difficult things to do, I know you're going to be surprised about this, is I lie on my back playing my game. But, once I've done whatever I'm doing and I'm waiting for the other person to come back to me, I take this hand and I stretch it all the way out and flat against the bed. You want to know what that's like on the muscles at the back? You'll be amazed, the muscles, and you stretch these muscles here. Just literally going like this. Just try it now. Literally. Try it now. Just take your hand and your arm and put it square with your shoulders. Can you feel what it's stretching? Okay, now put the phone in the other hand, right? And do the same thing again. Can you feel it in your back? All right, and then The next thing I do is I stretch up behind my head. And I'll play, and then while I'm waiting, I will just stretch like this and then push this against the back. So I'm flat. Yeah. And try that. Put your hand on your head, hold your phone if you're watching me on the phone, and just move that elbow right back. And of course, if you're watching on a laptop, do them both. Feel your spine move. Isn't it amazing? And then while I'm lying there, I do more. I'm not going to lie down and show you, but you can imagine this. I will bring my knees up, and then I will drop the one knee. All right, imagine this is my knee, and I'll drop it all the way as far as I can down to the bed while keeping the rest of my body straight, right? And then I'll bring it back up, and I'll do the same with the other knee. I want to tell you, you can feel a few things stretching. And then I will go to my feet. Move those to the sides. All right? And then I will move them all the way up and all the way down, all the way up and all the way down. And by the time I've done that, all the time I'm distracting myself with playing the game, waiting for people to reply, and doing that. But you know, the most amazing thing is by the time I finish that, oh, and don't forget the head one. Right? Just move your head. And I cannot tell you how much more flexible my spine has been. And now that I'm also, no coincidences, now that I'm also back on my bouncy chair for a good part of the day, I am using my spine a whole lot more, and it is a lot less painful. I hope that makes sense to a lot of you. I don't believe in coincidences. Life just changed, and in doing that, helped me change. Now, one of the things they say, going back to the heat thing, if you want to save a lot of money, don't try and cool the whole house. What's the point of that? Cool you, right? You remember what Beth said? Have a little fan that just cools you. Have, a little AC type unit that just blows on you. I haven't put any more ice in my little unit, and the temperature is still down to 93. Yeah. Which probably sounds like a lot, but you know something? It's over 100 in the rest of the house. So I'm pretty happy with 93. And, oh, by the way, for those of you who watch me make the handmade do-it-yourself deodorant on one of the broadcasts recently, Jody, I think we need to pull that one out and put it as a standalone. Know that I took extra aloe vera sanitizer and mixed it in, blended it up. I found that using the, what do you call it? Semolina starch. That needed extra blending. So I did that. But I added more of the aloe vera gels hand sanitizer. And then I bought little roll-on bottles. My little do-it-yourself deodorant, I have not been sweating. I mean, you know how hot it is. I have not been sweating, and I have not been smelly. I will not be buying store-bought deodorant again. It's so simple. And I'm pretty certain, although I haven't done the test, that the aloe vera type hand sanitizer probably on its own would work. But getting the little roll-on bottles, the empty roll-on bottle, was the greatest idea, because then I knew the consistency it needed to be, and it works. And now I don't see that starch stuff anymore, and it's all blended in, and It works. So very, and if you want to know how hot it is, I'm tempted to turn around because I can almost feel the water running down my back right now. And I want you to remember, people lived at this heat without, before they invented air conditioning. Be smart about your doors. The temptation is to close off your rooms. All right. But what they recommend is open up the doors. The more air circulation there is going, the better. Now, in my house where Yvonne lives, you remember the house I used to live in, we used to be able to turn the heater, what do you call it, the furnace on to what I call the poor man's air conditioner, where it would keep the air circulating in the house. Now, I haven't found the availability to do that with the one I've got here, and I will actually ask that question with somebody who knows what they're doing. I haven't found it yet, but it might be nice to find out. And by the way, you remember in a broadcast or two ago, Jody, I'm on my second bottle of water since I've been talking to you. We know what that's going to mean. Remember in that broadcast, we were talking about how does the Queen manage at 90, whatever that she is, still to walk without a cane, still to walk without somebody helping her, go up and down steps. How many of you are going, that is a role model that I need to follow? So I actually did a bit of research to find out, what does the Queen do? And a couple of things. Number one, you will know that all through her life, she rode horses. Right. Now, riding horses requires a lot of use of your back and all your legs and everything else. So that is a good thing to think about. But I wanted to know what's she doing now that she isn't riding. And she still walks a lot. All right. She takes the doggies, the corgis, for a walk every day. She makes sure that she does that sort of exercise. And I'm trying to remember what else they said. Anyway, but the thing is, she didn't do anything weird. She wasn't going to the gym 3 times a week. She doesn't, swim 48 laps every day in the pool. She just literally keeps active. And I want you to think about that. Surprising, isn't it? And at 90, whatever, she can still be as nimble as she is. Now, here's another thing I want you to make sure we all remember. How many of you think that we're going to be back to our new normal pretty soon? We're going to be able to have people come to our houses and eat. We're going to be able to do all sorts of things, invite them over for a barbecue. Maybe you're already doing it. Now, here's a really good tip for you all. There is an expression to eat at your own restaurant. Do you know what that means? That means take time to be a guest in your own house. Go to if you've got a guest bathroom, use your guest bathroom. Close the door and find out, are there dust bunnies behind the door because it's been open all through this last year? And you're not Beth, so you didn't close it and sweep behind it. Have you washed down the back of that door in the last year? You know what I'm saying? Oh, by the way, Kim made a really good point here. She said, "I don't wash clothes in the heat." She does things like that at night. Doesn't want the extra heat from appliances heating up the house. Good point. And she opens up all her windows when it's hot. Yeah, absolutely. I am really fortunate. I have 2 patio doors on this side of the house, so they stay open all day. But I must admit that I keep the blinds closed because I want to block the heat from coming in, because when the heat out there is 40, why would I open up the blinds? I won't open up the blinds until about 9 o'clock, and let some, when it starts to cool down, and let that in before I close the house down. So eat at your own restaurant, all right? So, see what a guest would see. Sit on that toilet and look around and go, what a guest see? And by the way, just in case you've got nosy guests, and I've had them, what have you got in the drawers, close to the toilet, where while they're sitting there, they have to open up the drawer to see what's in there? I can't believe people do that, but they do. Have you got the spare toilet paper in a easy to see place where they're not going to open up drawers to try and find it? So eat at your own restaurant, wash your hands in the guest sink, and think about, have I got hand sanitizer? Have I got soap? Have I got, hand towels and stuff for them? By the way, I recommend getting bar type towels for your guest bathroom, not hand towels. They're sized down from hand towels, or a stack of washcloths, and roll them up and have them in a basket. Much better than having towels. You use you don't need much to dry your hands. A face cloth does wonders, and then they can just drop it down when they've finished. I actually will have a second basket where people can put the ones that they've used into it. All right, so remember with your habits, all right, start doing one step a day, all right? So don't try and clean the whole of the guest bathroom this week. Just start working on it every day. One time that you go to the bathroom, go to the guest bathroom if you're lucky enough to have one. If the guests use the bathroom that you have, start every day getting it tidy enough and clean enough and everything else to take guests. And so remember that these major changes we make are made just one step at a time. Good. Well done, everybody. So keep those. Anybody else got a habit that they've formed? Jody, how is your vanity habit working for you? Because Jody had a very cluttered vanity and sent me a picture, and then she cleaned the whole lot off and sent me another picture. So I'm sure did you get the cabinet that you wanted? The vanity is looking beautiful. There you go. And do you smile every day when you look at it? And wonder why you didn't do that long ago? And how is Lionel coping with the change? Lionel's happy because you're happy. There we go. By the way, Jody, teach him the trick about the smaller, not a bath towel. You know what I mean? A sort of what I call a hand towel, and teach him when he's had that shower to just wipe down the shower with a hand towel. Yes, Kimmy told us this on Friday, that a really good trick also is to put sheets of insulation on your windows if you've got, we're not going to have a long-term heat wave. This is just very unusual for us. Ah, interesting. Jody's saying we did get the cabinet, but Lionel wants it for the freezer room. So I'm back to searching. Oh, you're going to find an even better one then. And you gave it to him? That's surprising. Well, it's Lionel. Of course you did. Begrudgingly, she says. Right. That's love. So Now then, this goes under Did You Know? And I thought you'd enjoy this, people. Did you know that cigarettes were once used to treat asthma? No, seriously. Uh, and opium, caffeine, iodine, and morphine were all recommended treatments for respiratory disease. I'm going to read that again. That opium, caffeine, iodine, and morphine were all used for respiratory disease, things caused by asthma. No. Now, hi, Kiz. Happy birthday. All right, so Kiz is saying, hi, my routine habit is what things I need to put away, hang up, and straight away after coming in the front door. That is a great habit to work on, all right? What do you do with your stuff as you walk through the front door? And do you have a suitable place to put it? What I found, Kiz, is I have an extra hold it type bag. You know what I mean? Beach bag type thing. And I keep it by the front door, and I throw stuff into there. Stuff that I might need to take out again. It all goes in there. So when I grab my keys, I can look in there and take out the things that I need. Sometimes you need this, sometimes you need that. All goes in that one bag, and it's in a bag. So that's awesome. She just tidied up the vanity, Kim. She had a very cluttered vanity, and she took everything off it and put it away and found new places to put it. And put some of it into a box that she put makeup into a box that she can pull out and put on the vanity while she puts on her makeup, and then put it away again. Or Lionel has a little area that he can pull out his box and bring out his toothpaste and toothbrush and put it away again. So it works very well for her. Now, how many of you are older? I wonder. I can remember when I had period pains. I can remember getting given laudanum. Do any of you remember that far back? Now, for those of you going, what's laudanum? Laudanum actually is opium. Tincture of opium, I believe. So I can remember being given that for period pains. And it was quite, it wasn't easily given. In other words, things that we would now take ibuprofen for, or ibuprofen, for things like that, you would still get aspirin or something. But if that wasn't working, I can remember being given laudanum. And, if you want to take a second and look that up, you will see I'm not joking. And that's in my lifetime. So we've come a long way. Now then, under no coincidences, how many of you know that after I've got this far in the decluttering and unpacking, I've still got stuff in the studio, and I do need some motivation and some support in getting those boxes emptied. But how many of you knew the next one would be the craft room, and then I would start on the shed? Well, guess what? Because of the heat wave, I needed to find a fan. I know I've got 2 fans in there, and I also know that somewhere in there I have 2 humidifier type things. And I said, I don't care how long it takes me. I need at least 1 fan. And I want to tell you, I found one. It took me over an hour, and I had to move a lot of things around. But no coincidences. In finding the fan, I found some other things that I've been looking for. And I also managed to tidy up a bit in the storage shed. And I'm beginning to realize that I'm slowly getting a bit of order in there. I can I can move in there a little better than I could before. So I was very happy. Kim's coming up with another habit that she has, which is when I'm cooking, I clean as I go. Yes, and Kimmy, I'm amazed how many things when you're cooking. I now keep one jar, like a fat mason jar, and anything that I just use quickly. Maybe I used a fork to whip up some eggs. I just drop it into a mason jar full of water. Maybe I used a teaspoon for a measure or something, and I just drop it in that that jar of water. Most of it doesn't need to go in the dishwasher. It just needs to sit there for a while, and then I take it out, dry it, and put it back in. How many of you put things back into your cupboards when they're uh, not even properly dry? I found that quite often, I just put things that are not wet, but they're not totally dry. I just put them back in the cupboard. I'll shake that teaspoon and put it back in the drawer. I'll shake that fork, get the water off it, and put it back in the drawer. Works really well. The reason I do that is I watched a professional chef in their own home do that. I reckon if a professional chef can do that, so can I. How many of you are still putting one thing away every day or 7 things away every week into your recycling, your decluttering box, where you're going to send things away? I hope you're still doing that. Has anybody noticed and got any good information to share with the viewers on meat prices? Anything else that you've noticed is going up in price? Because the way we help each other is amazing. You remember that baron of beef that I cooked while you were watching me 2 weeks ago? I want to tell you, it has been so tasty and so helpful. You remember that the Jeannie's mustard went over the top of it. It was a molasses mustard, and it browned it. It looked like it was burnt, but it wasn't. It was just the caramelization of the mustard. I want to tell you, I am doing that again. Every slice of beef I have, I get some of that caramelized mustard on top, and oh gosh, does it taste good. And if you remember, I said to you, when you make the gravy, make way too much so you can freeze it. I froze it in muffin liners, muffin tin liners, silicone ones, and I just froze them. And now every time I pull out the beef, I pull out one little puck of gravy to go with it. That I add more stuff to, whatever I want. So, to me, it is amazing how that baron of beef has worked. Yes, I freeze it 2 slices at a time. And what I did, for example, is last night I took out 2 slices, had 1 slice for dinner, with some peas and corn. And then the next slice is waiting for me to have, I'm going to cut it in strips and have it over a salad tonight. So you understand, it's really been very versatile, and I recommend buy the roast. It was not, it sounds expensive, but it's keeping me. I bought a whole box of chicken breasts, a whole box. All right. Why? When I saw the price of it, I'd be mad not to. Now, had I already just cooked some turkey? Yes. But the price that they had on that chicken, I knew I needed to buy it. So, so Kim is saying that I wish I could get a storage room for my business stuff as it's in my room. Okay, now here's the thing. Kim, is it the room you're sitting in right now? And basically, what size are the things that you are reselling? And the reason I ask you that is, I've said this a number of times during broadcasts, but one of the best lessons I learned from IKEA was the space. Most people only have storage from the ground to about shoulder height. And what IKEA said, if you need more storage, push your storage all the way up to the ceiling. In other words, all right, look how high that storage goes. On this side, look how high my storage goes. Yeah, I agree with you, Kimmy. Kimmy's saying if the price of meat went down, it would be a miracle. That's why I'm saying anything that I see that is a good price now, I'm buying as bigger amount as I can. I found out that I could get a whole box of chicken breasts for the same price as I could get 4. And I went, yeah, I'm sure the 4 are probably grass-fed and better, but I need to stock up my freezer. So I'm not going to be able to get the grass-fed, but I am going to have chicken. By the way, going back to the eating at your own restaurant, one of the things I noticed was that the silicone in my guest bathroom at the bottom, that needs to be redone. So that's on my list now to get it done in the next month. All right, Kimmy's saying every time something happens in the world, everything goes up in price. I think it's an excuse. I want to say, Kimmy, that the stuff that is happening in the world right now is unusual. We've had a year of pandemic. We've got all sorts of stuff going on that's causing the price of transport to go up. We've got so many things happening that affect the cost of transport. When the cost of transport goes up, so does the price of everything that's delivered. One of the things you will hear me say time and time again, Kimmy, is when we stop buying things in plastic, or, it's like, think about how much space it takes. How many of you are buying more things in bulk now? You're taking your own containers and filling them up and taking them home. It's like you're going to save a lot of money. The price will not change. I mean, the price will change. It will continue to go up. So, whenever you can, do that. And I know that you are challenged, Kimmy, because of where you live. But here's what I have to tell you. It is probably going to be well worth your while to once a month take a trip. Take a trip, all right? A day trip to a bulk store like a Walmart or something, and do the bulk shopping for the month, right? Rather than buy locally where it's going to be horrendously expensive. Even though it's going to cost you money in gas to get there, it's going to be worth it. So that's where you've got to think differently for what's going to happen. All right, everybody. So I've got I'm hoping that you found something of value in today's broadcast. It's just like, it was so funny. I went, well, I think I've got the computer problem fixed enough that I can actually do a broadcast. And it didn't, touch wood, it didn't blow up on me. So yay. Thank you, Jody. I want you to know that we can help each other save money during this time. Jody is saying, we bought a 5-pound bag of shredded cheese for half the price of buying 8-ounce bags. Clever. Did you then put them into smaller bags? Because one thing I'd like you to think about, Jody, is buy your baggies, buy freezer baggies. Don't worry about the cheap ones. Buy freezer baggies. Why? Because you can use them, wash them, and reuse them. I know you also use silicone bags, Jody. I've seen you do that, and I bought some as well. Good. So you weighed them out and you put them into smaller, usable things. Very clever. How are you doing with coffee? Does that hack still work for you? I am amazed how well that hack works. Buy 1 can of cheap coffee and a bag of expensive. And then to 3 scoops of the cheap one to 1 scoop of the expensive one, mix it all up. You will not know that you have done that. The coffee will taste great. I also have started buying bold coffee. All right, much stronger coffee. Because that really helps. I bought Mexican bold coffee, and I want to tell you, that will cover the taste of any cheap coffee. Amazing. Jody's saying, such a money saver. I'm forever grateful. Well, you know me, Jody. I love to play with these things. And when they work, I tell you about them. So it is still only 94.8 here. How did I do? Okay, so I am a happy camper. Whew. Now, I need to do a Zoom broadcast. So for those of you, who do Zoom, I'd probably be doing it Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, somewhere in there. And I wondered, how many of you use Zoom so you can teach me? And I know I can do it with one person. I need to know what happens when you do it with more than one. Or maybe Jody can talk to me about that. Anyway, I have the need before Friday. Oh, and that's another thing. Friday, the broadcast will be delayed. Or I might just do one on Friday because I need to be on the Zoom call with my sister for her 80th birthday. So here we go. Have a wonderful week. Make it a good week. Remember, oh, by the way, did any of you use the heat to a good purpose? All right. Did any of you dehydrate stuff? Do sun-dried tomatoes? Did any of you do sun-dried fruit? Did any of you do anything like that to say if it's going to be this hot? Ah, wonderful. Kimmy is saying that on Sunday she's going to her daughter's house, possibly to play a game. But she said, so I might also be able to go shopping in bulk then. Kimmy, please do that. All right? Please take the opportunity, take the time, take the effort, and because it could save you so much money. And I would get stuff, I'm amazed how much in this heat I am using. You remember I bought those tins of Spam and corned beef and stuff like that? I'm amazed how useful they have been in this very hot weather. I also find that the Chef Boyardee with some meat in it, I know that Jody can't eat that, but I can. Every now and then that makes such a cool, dinner when I'm not feeling very hungry. And I have half a can. And I know, it's like, really. And I think about the cost of it is ridiculous. So buy what you can that is in bulk and start buying more stuff that you like. Stuff that you like that is in tins. In other words, if you can tolerate, fruit cocktail, and they have fruit cocktail at like $1 a can. Seriously. Buy what else? If you can tolerate Spam, buy it. If you can, I buy crab meat or shrimp tinned. Why? It lasts forever. And it's a great way to change up what you're eating. Yeah, Jody, I think we're going to need to do some price comparisons on that if we can. And so people understand that, hey, it's also a lot less work. You just need to heat it up. We're going to do some work on that one. All right. So if you can, Kimmy, buy a big roast of something, right? Don't buy a roast this big. If you can buy a baron of beef that is this big, suck up the price, because you're going to end up getting much better bang for your buck. If they are selling barbecued chicken, a whole one, for, this price, and that price is the same as, 2 chicken breasts, buy the whole chicken, right, and freeze it. I am saving a fortune doing that. And what I'm doing is, every time I buy meat now, I do not buy it pre-packaged in those, cut up and pre-packaged. I buy the roast that I want, right? So if I want pork, I'm not buying pork chops. I'm buying a whole pork roast, or pork tenderloin that I can cut up. If I'm buying chicken, right, I'm buying a box of chicken breasts, not just 4, or a whole chicken. If the whole chickens are on sale, I will buy a whole chicken, or I will buy the biggest amount. If I won't buy a slice of turkey breast or a small one, I will buy a big roll of turkey breast and then cook it and slice it up ready. Think big. So think about that. All right, this is DearMamaSal saying, we can cope with this, people. We will keep learning new smart ways. The same as we will keep changing our habits. And we will change our lives, and we will cope with this, because we can, and we intend to, and we will learn lots, and it will be as much as an adventure as anything else. Don't complain about it. It's here. It's going to get worse. Work out how to make it fun. By the way, how many of you would like to know how to make a do-it-yourself toilet bowl cleaner? Because that's my next experiment from the kitchen. Either when the heat comes down a bit, or I may need to do it late at night and videotape it and then put it up as a standalone, because that's my next one. I'm going to try and work through all the things that I think we use a lot of during the months, and see how I can help you save money on them. This is DearMamaSal saying, love you dearly. Remember to look after one another. Keep up the good work. Keep changing little habits. I love that one about coming through the door. Where do you put your stuff? Is it neat and tidy? That is a good one. And how can you change your entryway to have some sort of box in there that you can lift up, huck things in, and close the lid again? Great idea. Happy birthday, Kez. Have a wonderful evening. Think about the fact that you survived long enough to make it to this birthday. A lot of people didn't. We are so fortunate. We are so fortunate. I keep thanking the stars above how fortunate I am to still be alive, and that I still have hips, that I still have a spine, that I still have a shed at the back with more boxes in it. I think how lucky I am every day. Do you? This is DearMamaSal saying, look after one another, but most of all, look after yourself, and remember, your feelings are your business and yours to cope with. If you're feeling sad, that's not on somebody else, that's on you. Something you did for yourself. So you can change your thinking and be happy again. Think about that. If you are feeling, it is something to do with you. Don't blame others for it. This is DearMamaSal saying, bye-bye for now.